Good evening, everyone. And on behalf of Unstoppable Passionpreneur, allow me to extend a warm welcome to everyone. Before I go ahead with anything, I would really thank Mr. Deepak ji and Ritesh ji for letting me in such a wonderful group. And since such a platform, it's really, it's really great to be in such a platform where, great personalities come and share their skills and knowledge. And then during this pandemic, it's lovely to, educate yourself, learn different perspectives from such, big architects, designers, engineers. So it's really great to join this particular group. So I'm glad you gave me this opportunity, Ritesh ji and Deepak ji. So also the reason why we are here today, I wanted to share my design ideas with you all. The design topic is named Kindergarten for the Visually Impaired. This particular topic was also my final year thesis topic. So initially, when I had to, decide about my final year dissertation topic, so I had many things on my mind. I had a topic about honey making, store, or about zoos and animal friendly space. So many different, complete different topics were coming in my mind. So then I would be talking basically about the inspiration for which I got into this topic. Then lately I will be discussing about the research I had done because it's very necessary before you design something. There's a lot of case studies to be done. I will be talking about the research. Then I will be talking about the design aspects, the creative spaces. Then I would be going into furtherly into my detailing, my furniture, the materials I have used. Then lastly, I will be talking about the 3D views I had made so that you have a good knowledge about what it looks in 3D. And then lastly, I will be showing you my current, what I'm currently into, freelancing designing, that is. I'll be showing few projects that I have attended after my graduation. So please allow me to start with the session. The reason why I chose this topic was basically I had a house help whose child was visually impaired. And I used to interact with him quite frequently during my thought process of my dissertation topic. So I felt it's very terrible and painful to watch that child and its parent to deal with such a situation. And I thought, why not, think about something that can be very helpful to somebody and can, have a meaningful impact in today's world. So I thought of this topic, let's make an environmental, friendly space for them, and which they can independently move around, function around. Not they don't need complete attention always, and they can function. They can be independent in their selves. And it is said that the visual impairment in them can make them much stronger than weaker because the rest of their sensory stimuli are highly activated. So I thought, let's make something for them. So that's where I got my inspiration from. And then I thought that let's name my kindergarten Kanavu. Kanavu means dreams in Tamil. And every child has a right to dream, right? And because every child sees the world differently. Every child has the dream to become an engineer, a doctor, a pilot, a chef, a painter, and anything. They have n number of goals and passion. So visual impairment shouldn't be a thing that stops them from being something. So during the childhood, you're supposed to nurture them to that extent that they never, regret having that thing, or it's nothing. It's very normalized. They have to normalize these things, and they have to accept what it is. So that's how I came into such a name for my kindergarten. Then I'll be talking about what's a kindergarten. They learn, they play. And while doing all these activities, the majorly, their senses are activated. That is, their sight is activated, their touch is activated, their listening aids are activated, their hearing aids are activated. So while doing all these things, the interior design plays a very important role for which I was thinking that I can design creative spaces for them in order to activate all those senses. And since they are going to achieve all their goals with all those senses, I have to build and activate them thoroughly. So yes, that was the introduction to the kindergarten. Then my aim was to design a functional interior design space for them, as I said previously, and my objective was to have a complete case study done for them, so that I don't, leave behind any aspect, And also, there are legal guidelines for every visually impaired schools that have to be followed strictly as per the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016. So I have read about it, and I thought, to actually imply, because few schools are actually lacking behind those guidelines. And sometimes, as a designer, you have many limitations also because of those guidelines. So I had to go through those limitations. Lately, I had started my case study from the National Association for Blind, Worli. I went there, and fortunately and unfortunately, I got to study the spaces, but they were mostly academic section. NAB Worli was an academic section. It didn't have the schooling and educational means there. There was more of staff rooms and head departments. It was an organization basically. So, but then I visited. I studied all the spaces there. I went to the library. So they had a history of the sources which blind people used to use previously, like cassettes and all means of audios to listen and learn in the library. So I got to know about those spaces, which I wasn't known before. Like I knew that they listen and they learn, but I didn't know there was a particular section that is, specifically for them. And ahead, I went and I got to see the record studio where they used to record all the syllabus of HSC and SSC boards, and they used to talk. The person used to go to the studio. They used to record. They used to talk all the textbooks out and record them. So students who are visually impaired used to visit this organization and collect all those CDs and cassettes in order to pursue their HSC and SSC boards. Also, they had braille books to read and to give their exams and all. Some people who are not known to braille language, for them there are writers to fulfill their exams. So there, in NEB Worli, I found that. Then the next case study was done in TISS Bombay, where I personally was as a child. So there, I wanted to study about the child psychology. And I see, as a child, I don't remember what I wasn't thinking as an interior designer. So I was much into playing and all of that. So I thought, now let me go and visit and see as an interior designer the perspective, the flooring, the ceiling, the walls, and any sort of cladding or anthropometry is used there. So I saw the space identifications there, where you have an indoor playroom, then you have a dining section, then you have separate washrooms as per their anthropometry. Then you have an assembly section where you play games, you pray, and you take naps and all. So all of that was there. Then I actually learned, and I wanted that my kindergarten should have these things. And I also learned what it shouldn't be having, so that they might hurt themselves. Then the third one was again National Association for Blind, but this time it was in Ambernath. And the Ambernath one was visited because it was completely an engineering department. For the age range there was from 12 to 24 years, and it was not co-education, it was just specified for boys. There I got to see that, they were lacking behind interiors. They were quite dull and, not enhancing at all. I know they are visually impaired, but then they can feel what environment it is around, and it was not that hygienic. So I prefer that a place where you be and you play and you educate yourself has to be very hygienic. So, and then another major thing, I didn't find any tactile floorings there, or any sort of wayfindings, any sort of railings where there were levels written. As soon as you climb a stair, towards your right is the railing, right? So there you have to mention the levels, on which level you are. If it's dot, if there's one dot, you're on level one, or two dots, level two. So they have a language for braille language for numbers and letters. I did not find that there. Again, these are formal legal guidelines that have to be followed in every visually impaired school, which was lacking. So that I had learned, and they had engineering workshops where there were equipments placed. Then they had CAD center. Then they had accommodation. They had a cafeteria. Then they had a really creative space where they used to make these walking sticks that the visually challenged people use. They used to make them by their hands. They used to make plastic moldings. They used to make files out of cardboards. So they are very talented, like no doubt. Nothing can stop them from doing anything. They can function even better than us. So that's what I found. Then the next school that I had visited, that was in Pune, that was Pune School and Home for the Blind. Unfortunately, I couldn't click pictures there. It was prohibited. And I spoke to the guide and I interacted with the students. I had a questionnaire being prepared. So that's how it went. And then I got to know that the here also it wasn't co-educational. So it was specified for boys. Then the unique selling proposition of this design is that it's specified for the children, and then there is a lot of attention given to a little amount of students, but there's a more attention is given to less amount of students. Then again, the interiors play a very important role. Then the sensories are stimulated at the same time. And there are tactile floorings, braille numberings, and many spaces which activate your senses. That is the unique selling proposition. So as I said, the strength are its USPs. Then its weakness is that it is just specified for the kindergarten, that is 1 to 6 years of age. And the opportunities is obviously, if this goes ahead, if this project goes ahead, and it gets a lot of numbering in of students, then it can increase. It can become a school, or college or something like that. If it's a success, then the threats is the existing blind pools present right in Pune. As I said, I personally visited in Pune, and I thought of designing a kindergarten right in Pune. So that was one of its threats. So this was my concept. My concept was easier navigation, easier access to spaces, to openings, and all of that. And then there are specific landmarks that activate your senses. Then there are routes that lead to there are not many turnings around. As you go straight, you can find your way on your own. Like they can be independent in order to find their ways. Maybe they'll have to study it for 2 or 3 days using the caretaker's help, but then they are independent otherwise. And towards the right, you can see the color scheme of my kindergarten. Then this was the existing plan that I had chosen from Pune Balewadi district. Um, so then after civil modifications, I had got to a design layout, which I'll be discussing about. So after all the research, I got into the requirements that I wanted creative spaces in my kindergarten, that all my studies had jot down. Like I need a music room, I need a therapy room, I need a garden, I need a game room, I need accommodations, and all of that. And again, the furnitures and all of the columns have to have a seamless nature, and then they have to have the handrails that are very smooth. Then they have to have corner railings and all of that. Then the less the more is basically, as I said, that students in one class, I have minimized them to 15 people so that they gain more attention, and they have more learning than being n number of students in a class. Then the maximum seating placement, as I said, is up to 15. Then outside the periphery of the kindergarten, I have made it sure that each and every classroom gets efficient amount of natural sunlight. Each and every space in my kindergarten gets. So basically, I have created all my space at the periphery, at the outer opening of my of the existing layouts. So also the flooring, ceiling, and walls and railing have been taken under consideration. Each and every floor or every nook and corner has tactile floorings for them to guide their own pathways. They or each wall has a different texture so that they know if they are at the studio, if they're near the studio has a rock wall, so they can touch and they can feel that it's a studio. All right. Then if they have a cork textured thing, then they know, yeah, we have reached the staff room, and vice versa. So there are braille writings, there are wayfindings, and then this is how they activate all their senses. Then this is after all these research and studies, I came up to the final design layout. I have taken two floors, that is the ground floor and the first floor. This is my ground floor layout. So as you can see, this main door towards the left, you have a record studio. Towards the right is the waiting lounge and a consultant's room. As you go to more towards the leftmost corner has the nursery area. Right above it, you have a cafeteria. Right towards the right, you have the UKG section and then the LKG section again towards its right. And in the middle, it's a sensory playground where you have see students. The child doesn't know what a dog looks like or what how high or how low it is, how it feels like. So I have made live sculptures in this sensory playground where they can touch and feel the how actually are the dimensions of animals and how they feel like, how are they rough, are they, have the furry texture and all of that. So this place again activates all their senses. Then towards the right corner, you have the girls' dormitory, and above that, you have the boys' dormitories. So there is accommodation here. And the yellow and red right here, you have these huge fragrant trees that are there. So this has a different fragrance, and even towards the dormitory, it has a different fragrance. So this is how they know that they are nearing the dormitory or they are nearing the cafeteria. So even cafeteria has its own smell. So that's how their smell gets activated. This is the first floor layout. Here I have spaces like prayer hall, the administration area, the washrooms, therapy room, music room, braille press, audio library, then the gaming zone, and then you have the braille room, which I would be highlighting more. Um, then so yeah, so basically the braille room has 5 levels. I can say in level one, there are basic shapes where the child comes and he touches and he feels, he knows what a square is like, what a circle is like, what an oval is like, and and so on. So then when you go to level two, you have a you have two senses activated. You have texture, you have all those fur, you have velvet, you have rock, and all those textures you have. So that if the teacher tells go and pick up stone, so that person goes and picks up that and puts it right here in the middle of this box. I'll be showing you a 3D view of it also. And this particular section activates your touch and your hearing aids. And the third level activates your these are scientifically scented capsules. So as soon as you open it, the child knows how a mud smells. If the teacher says pick up mud, he'll go and pick up mud, and so on. So this is the whole package to basically activate their senses. So that's how I thought about this room. So this is the 3D view of my braille room. And here, this is the flooring plan where I have written numbers in Braille language. In the alphabets also are in Braille language. So whenever they go towards those levels, they also are actually feeling the numbers with their feet. So that's the plan of a complete activation package. So this is the prayer hall 3D view. Here, as you can see, these black tiles right here, they mean stop, and you can find these tiles even on railway stations, on platforms. They are specially designed for the visually impaired people. So every nook and corner every stop has this particular tactile flooring in order to have easy access for the children. Also, the floorings are not harsh. Use of carpets, rubber flooring, hardwood flooring at some places. All of these floorings have been used so that they have, even if they tumble, they don't, hurt themselves or something. And all over or inside every classroom, you have this wall padding, which has been done. So even if they tumble on the walls, they are not hurt. They feel soft and all of those things. Also, I had a personal interview with the founder of Vision Insight Foundation. He also made an architect. He was also an architect, and it's very unfortunate that he had lost his vision in for working while working in ISRO. So I sat with him the whole day and I told him what he does, how he, discovered these things and all. So he told me that these are legal guidelines that have to be followed in each and every, visually impaired school. The periphery of every wall, has to have a checkered tile, roughly checkered tile. Then in the middle of your pathway, you have to have a checkered tile again. Then after every interval, there has to be a dark, the door frame has to be dark enough so that you know that there's any obstruction coming. The child knows that he has to not go ahead or he has to touch and then go ahead. So such sort of things I had discussed with him. This is the studio, record studio, as I had told on the design layout. This is the nursery classrooms for the children. There you have all your pool balls and your tents and a piano to play and rhyme with the teacher. So this is how it looks. Then you have the UKG section where you have a little more of studies. Here, all the furnitures are seamless. You have bright yellow, seatings for them to sit and enjoy all the rhymes. And behind the table, all these furnitures are fixed for them to, recall where they have to sit and which is their place. Each student has their own identification and seat number to go and sit. So all these furnitures are fixed for them for easy access towards the classes. This is how it looks. Then I told you about the dormitories. Here again, they have each beds are being named in Braille language again, and they have a storage for themselves. So there's this quote. I will be ending this session with few quotes, which are very very deep. So one of them is this: there is a wonder in reading Braille that the sighted would never know to touch words and have them touch you back by Jim Feebeck. So this is really amazing that, and he was also dealing with visually impaired children. So he had written about these things. Also, there's one more that I would share by Helen Keller. The best and beautiful times in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with heart. As I said, senses when they are active, you have so many senses. Just because of one being nagging cannot stop you from dreaming or achieving anything in your life. You have to move ahead. You have to be very passionate. You can achieve anything in your life. You won't regret anything in your life. That's not your mistake. Being visually impaired is not your mistake. It's your strength. Take it as a strength and you will go way too ahead. Even the person who I had a personal interview with, he is being the founder of Vision Insight Foundation, and he's amazing. He's so talented. And his I used to ask him, how are you using your WhatsApp and how do you communicate, how do you deal with people literally go to him for help and all of that. So he has a setting in his Android phone. Every one of you must be having in your Android phone, which wherever you touch it, it converts it into audio. So that's how he used to communicate with me and talk to me and share all these things. So there was one more quote that is, there is a wonder in reading Braille that the sighted will never know, to touch words and have them touch you back. So it's very important for the visually impaired children to learn the Braille language. That is actually, they are very talented because you need a lot of sense and, high amount of knowledge to actually learn that, because it's really tough to just touch and feel something and then just grasp it. So that has to be learned, because that's going to be used for them throughout their lives. So that's how I can end this session. I thank everyone for being here and listening to my design ideas so patiently. And I'm very glad that I got this opportunity to come and share with you all. It's been really great. And thank you so much. And I will be concluding with my current freelance designing projects that have been done, and I've got really good reviews and feedback. So I'm glad what I'm doing right now, and I'm continuing with freelance designing. So if there's any help needed with freelance designing, I will be grateful to help you all. And also, I'm not into execution right now because of the current situation, but I will be soon executing projects too. So thank you so much, everyone. I end my session
Thank
here.
you. Yeah, thanks a lot, Monica ji. It's a wonderful session. So,
Thank you,
any
Deepak ji.
any question and answer? We are opening for Q&A session.
I have one question.
Sure.
Yes,
Tell
Chintan
me.
ji.
Ma'am, how the see if we are having the physical disabled school in proper Mumbai, how they can be helpful by you? You can help, how you can help to them?
I can help them by providing all the legal guidelines that are supposed to be there in a visually impaired school. I can provide all that with tactile floorings, as I said, with the materials, with seamless furnitures, with wayfindings at every nook and corner, and then different textures and basically activating all their senses. I can create a whole package for that to be here in Mumbai.
I can help you out with three schools who are top level in South Mumbai and one in Chembur area. So that if there is a
Okay.
scope of your interest, if you can
Yeah.
help them out, or if you get the interest in these existing activities, so you can just
Sure.
join the organization and be
Sure. Sure.
helpful
Sure.
for the
I would love.
betterment of the society.
Yes, yes, I would love to, sir. Thank you for involving me into this. And
Yeah.
in Chembur, where is it?
I have to just ask my friend. And
Sure, sure.
in proper South Mumbai, it is near Goldeval.
Phone Deval. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
and to the surprise, my friend's child is a disabled child. So
okay,
she started the school on on this purpose only. So she would be
okay.
very happy to have you as an partner or guider or whatsoever. I think
I would love
so.
to, sir.
Yeah, I think so. She must have completed 1.5 year or so by opening this school. But I will help you to meet her.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. I would be. It would be very grateful if I'm getting the opportunity to help her. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank you.
So, any other questions?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Chintan ji, Chiku ji.
Hello. Yes,
Hi,
Chiku ji.
Monica. Hi, Monica ji. See, I had also worked for this disabled people.
Okay.
Initially, what I came to know about these people is that the blind always loves to listen to the music.
Yes.
They love
Yes.
listen to music, sounds of animals like
Yes.
that. And the deaf
Yes.
always likes to have different types of colors. They understand the meaning of colors.
Yes, sir. I agree.
And the lamb and the disabled, that means those who don't have legs and hands, they always love animals. They feel like that they should run like animals, they should fly like animals. It's
Yes,
like
sir.
that.
Yes, sir.
When I had designed, I had thought of these things. It's just a suggestion and just a thought.
Yes, sir, I agree with your thought. They are very, passionate and exploring.
Yeah.
They always want to explore
And they're
things
very
and
close to animals rather than us. They can
yes,
understand animals'
yes,
language much more than us.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
So,
sir.
any
Thank
other
you.
suggestions or questions?
May I say something? This is Nikita again.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Nikita
Please.
ma'am.
Yeah, very well. Really a different kind of presentation, Monica, and
Thank you so much.
really interesting to know. See, we see the different world because we are not visually impaired, so we have a different
Yes, yes.
world. But these people to understand at the young age level, which you did, and you started your venture at this age. That was really an amazing. Startup you do. I think you are
Thank
focusing
you
on
so much.
1 to 6 years, 1 to 6 years only the children's school, right? Or in case those houses having the same child,
Hmm.
can it be a reference for you in case if they want to renovate their home or do the interior into the similar line?
Yes, surely, because nowadays in India, they don't know the concept of baby proofing, is what I feel. Baby proofing in other countries are always there. Like when as soon as a baby is born, they actually baby proof all their interiors.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually make it accessible in India also. Like there
Okay.
are few places, but not many.
All right. So there are some houses who may would like to go from this, turnaround changes into their interior, and probably that could be a
Mm.
good reference for you. So I'll
Yes.
definitely try to promote you with this, guys from
Thank you
Mumbai.
so much, ma'am. That would be wonderful. Thank you so
And
much.
always. Thank you. Thank you all.
One.
Now, first of all, I want to thank you, Monica ji, for wonderful session. We believe this
Thank you, sir,
learning
for
will help
inviting
us,
me.
yeah, in future. Thanks a lot, and thanks for
Thank you.
all of you for joining this session and made it successful.